Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with the Soul. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert in the Chicagoland area in Northern Illinois, and I own a shiatsu massage practice and have for about the last 10 years. So I do Conversations for the Soul Monday through Friday, starting between 8:15 and 8:30, depending on technical difficulties, like today was. Today was a little bit of a technical difficulty, so I'm a little bit late starting. However, today's topic is actually one of my favorite topics, and it's called flow. So for the next couple days, and maybe even a little bit longer, we're going to be talking about happiness biohacks. And what are happiness biohacks? They are quick, easy solutions that we can add into our life that bring us happiness. I've been on this journey for decades now because I started out life with a few challenges, and happiness was a real struggle for me to understand the authentic causes of what makes us happy. And so today we're going to be talking about flow. So I first heard about flow when I was getting my master's degree in recreation administration. As my husband would say, beer drinking and darts. Good morning, Kathy. So when I was getting my degree in recreation administration, we had a whole chapter on what we call flow, a whole section on it. And it's the first time I'd ever heard the word. It's been a movement, there's been a book about it, there's a ton of information about flow, and it's been around for decades, but it's not really a common understanding. So I ran across the term flow again, even though I've got the book and I've read it and studied it and all that stuff. I'd forgotten about it until I watched a great movie the other day called Happy. And Happy reminded me and also reinforced all the simple, easy things that actually make us happy in life. And so as a quick recap, only 50% of what makes you happy is your genes. 10% is your situation, your circumstances, your job, your spouse, all those other things. And 40% are your values, the things that you spend most of your time focusing on, that you're passionate about, that the choices that you make every day, those are your values. And that gives you a ton of wiggle room in your values piece as to being happy, whether it's the tipping point or not. So one of the important pieces that they talked about was flow. And in the movie, they had a guy who was a cook. And he was a cook at a tiny little diner, in a cramped little kitchen. But he had a rhythm going. He had a love of it. And, it was just a joy to watch him work. And so it wasn't the greatest job, and you don't make the most money. But he loved cooking, and he loved the movement and the back and the forth. And that's a really great example of flow. Flow is when you are completely engaged in something where everything else around you disappears. And that's where your focus is. So, a lot of people don't think that flow is very important, and so they don't value it. They don't have it in their life. Getting completely engaged in a hobby or engaged in dancing or music or something along those lines, we all know is important, but we tend to put at the bottom of the list. I mean, I know I do, because in this super busy society, especially if you're a woman who's trying to juggle a million different things going on, your own happiness, your own hobbies and interests and activities that flow tend to be at the bottom of the list. The problem is when you put yourself at the bottom of the list, you end up completely empty and burned out, and you don't have anything to give to anybody else. The beautiful thing about flow and happiness is the more you fill your well, the more you have to give to other people. When you do these things that make you feel fulfilled, you have more to give to everybody else, which is what a lot of us really want. We want to serve, we want to give back, we want to take care of the people that we love. So flow for me comes in a wide variety of forms. One of the ways that flow for me comes is through sex, because it's such a sensory rich experience, where you can just dive deep, forget everything, and get into this movement and this interaction and this back and forth. It's like a game, it's like a play with your body. And that's kind of what flow is. It's where you play with your senses and you get completely engaged and everything goes smoothly. A lot of professional athletes get into this flow. A lot of people who love their job get into this flow. And I'm one of those people who loves their job. I'm able to get into flow when I work with people. And I purposely needed to create this in my life. I'm someone who has a highly sensitive nervous system, and so I have to surround myself and really fill my well a lot because I can't ignore it. In fact, they say people who have chronic pain or chronic issues tend to live happier, longer lives. And the reason they do is because they can't skimp. They can't, ignore what's going on. They have to address it because otherwise it's way too uncomfortable and causes too many physical and emotional and relationship problems. You can't skip self-care because otherwise your whole life falls apart. And so that's a gift that I was given is I always say my weakness is my strength. So flow is one of those key pieces where you find something that you love to do, that you can get engaged with, that you forget about the whole world. And it's time we started to value that. So, flow can be tennis players, when you've got the rhythm down, when you've got the connection. Flow can be me with my job. Whenever I work with somebody, when we sit down, I'm with them for 3 hours. It's like a time vortex because I bring them into my flow. I bring them into the back and forth, the conversation, the body work, where we're actually completely connected with one another. And we create this synergistic flow with each other of movement and dance. And that's where the shiatsu comes in, of stretching and acupressure and conversation. And it's this whole deep, intimate connection. Flow for you could even be, things that you do around the house. A lot of women love housework, and at times I really do too, because it's this thing I can get involved with. There was a woman who was, I really admired her, and she used to say that she loved to wash dishes. And the reason she loved that is because every dish she washed reminded her of the memories of the people who had eaten on these dishes. So she always wanted to be the one after gatherings and parties and things along those lines that washed the dishes afterwards, because for her it was a real sensory rich experience of memories and thoughts and people laughing and getting along and the people that she loved. So she made washing dishes her flow. Other people make exercise their flow, absolutely, because it's that movement that's getting into it. Running, for me it's walking with my music. I get into my music and I get into my flow, and that fulfills me. We forget about how important and we don't value getting into this connected state with our senses and our body and with the world around us. It could be reading a book. It could be walking your dog. We don't value these things as a society, as a culture. I mean, women certainly don't. We don't take those dance classes. We don't go for those walks. We always have to find excuses and reasons that justify why we do things to enjoy ourselves. And although it can seem selfish, and self-absorbed, how dare I do something for myself? How dare I care about myself? What happens when you don't is everything starts to fall apart and you can't be there for other people. You really, truly have to value that flow and have to value nurturing that filling of that well. So I challenge you. I challenge you to find something today that you can be in flow with. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be walking down a hallway. It could be taking a shower. It could be looking out your window or doing one thing where you feel you can be completely immersed and completely absorbed in the task. And it doesn't have to be for a long time. It can be for 10 seconds, it can be for an hour, it can be for the whole day if you like. But if we don't get these periods of flow, these times where we are immersed in what's going on, if we don't put those in our lives, then happiness goes downhill really fast. So I've got a couple challenges for all the women and all the people that are engaging with me these days. And these are to start putting in these biohacks in your life that help you raise your happiness. Because if you're not happy, if you don't feel connected and fulfilled, then you're not fulfilling your purpose in life. And although society and the world and the culture tells us it's counterintuitive, that you need to cut waste, you need to be more efficient, you need to stop being lazy, you need to get more done, you need to be productive. You know, society, our society especially, tells women that that's the most important thing. And then what happens is we lose our life, and we're not good to anybody, and we're not fulfilling our highest role and our highest purpose, bringing out these gifts. So it's not about achieving things. It's not about goals. I want you to start putting these happiness biohacks into your life. So for me, I already did, and so I'll share some of the biohacks that I put into place today. First thing that I did when I woke up, I had at least 16 ounces of water that had chamomile infused in it. I left it infusing all night. I kept the bottle next to my bed, and the first thing that I did when I woke up was I drank that water. That's a biohack. That's something you can do to be happy. The next thing that I did is I took 10-15 minutes, and I felt a little edgy this morning because, you know, every day is different. And so in my mind, in my body, I let myself dance and express. And I created all of these great visualizations. I created a feeling and a sense of the whole world dancing for a while, and I could feel it. And my whole nervous system, the whole community in my body was dancing along with these rhythms and these songs. You don't have to actually go out and, you know, do Dancing with the Stars. You don't have to take a class. You don't have to learn a new skill. You don't have to do any of that. You can visualize it. You can just take that period of time, and you can go in yourself and feel what it would be like to dance. Feel what it would be like to connect or walk or move or kickbox or do MMA, you know, whatever it may be. You don't have to actually go out into the world and do it. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to interact with people. You can sit there and in your body, in your mind, get into this flow. So my flow this morning was dancing in my body. Nothing moved, not a muscle twitched, not an eye blinked. I laid there and I let myself dance as if I was the world dancing. That's another way to do flow. Today, Mark, we're talking about happiness biohacks, and we're talking about flow, how to get into flow, and how to bring happiness and get these really simple things into your life so that you can be happy. That's what we're talking about today. So flow is when you let yourself, no matter if you're disabled, no matter if you're depressed, no matter if you can't get out of bed, no matter if you've got money or not, whether you've got a busy day or not. Flow is all about getting into something in your mind, in your body, in your senses, where you're just completely absorbed. And that's how we stimulate and take care of and nurture our body, by using it in a way that feels good. So find your flow today. Find the thing that immerses you, even if it's just for a few minutes, where your focus comes in and that's your whole world. Give yourself permission to do that, because on the other side, if you do a little bit of flow every day, you're going to be a better person who's more present and more able to take care of the people that you love and take care of the people that you talk about and work with and want to take care of. So that's my challenge. Put some happiness biohacks into your life today. And I'd love to hear tomorrow about some of the success stories and some of the things that you added to your life so that you can be a little bit happier and in a little bit better place. So if you'd like to be a guest onto the live stream, just send me a message and we will talk about it and figure it out, and I'll add you on. So thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And until then, make sure you do 1 or maybe 2 or maybe 3 different things even that start bringing you a little bit closer to that place of happiness, that place of joy, because that is who you're supposed to be, and that's the direction you're supposed to go in. So have a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining me. Bye.